everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ghostly Haunts, where I show you guys how to make gothic witchy inspired crafts. It's been a hot minute since I've done a Ghostly Haunts video, but here we are today. I wanted to share with you guys something I'm surprised I've never done before on this channel, which is sharing Gothmasy stocking related items. As I'm sure you all can relate, there are no good stocking holders or stockings in stores, so you either have to scour the internet in hopes to find something that you like, or you have to make it yourself. And today, I'm here to show you how to create your own stocking holders and stockings. Now this is going to be part one of those two related DIY items, so in this video, I'll be sharing with you how to make stocking holders. Now next week, I'll have part two to this video where we'll create stockings together. I decided to go ahead and put out this video first because I did notice it's easier to find Gothmasy stockings versus stocking holders, so hopefully you guys can make your own before the Christmas season ends. And then if you happen to not like any of the Gothmasy stockings that are available out there, hopefully my video next week will help you with that. So here are the stocking holders that I have for you guys today. So if you're interested in knowing how I created these, then keep on watching. Let me go ahead and share with you guys the items you'll need to make these stocking holders. I would say this DIY is pretty cheap to make. Mainly your cost will be down to the house. I was lucky and found these really cute Halloween ceramic houses at Target at Halloween time. These were only $3 each and they had a variety of shapes and sizes, as you can see with the other two and with this one. Now, obviously, these aren't in stores anymore, unfortunately, and I can't seem to find any of these online. I don't really know why, but you can find ceramic houses similar to these. They just won't have the cute little ghosts and bats on them. So first, your ceramic house. The next item you'll need are just some paints of your choosing. I used black and red, but you can use whatever colors you want to paint your little ceramic houses with. Then you'll need this Sculpey Bacon Bond. This will help adhere your sculpture projects onto your ceramic houses, so that way they'll be sturdy and stay on forever. You don't have to worry about them falling off over time. Then you'll need some items such as clay tools, some sandpaper, paintbrushes, which any shape and size will do that you have. You'll need some clay, whatever color and brand you prefer. I'm using Sculpey 3, and the colors I'm using are just the plain Sculpey Black, the Primo Accents Frost White Glitter. This one's pretty cool because it has little glitter flecks in it. And then I'll be using Sculpey 3 Red. You also need some cardboard or cardstock, anything that's a little bit thicker than paper, as well as a pen and some scissors to cut out your own little whatever these are called. So you can make your own little design. I made a bat, as you can see here, but whatever design you want to put onto your ceramic house is totally up to you. This is optional, but I'm going to be using Dura Clear Gloss Varnish. This will give a nice glossy finish to your ceramic house and just makes it look more professional looking. The next thing you'll need is some Deco Art Snow-Tex. This thing is so fun and it makes it look like it has just snowed on your cute little stocking holder. So I definitely recommend picking this up if you want a cute little snowy finish to your stocking holder. This is also optional, but I am going to be putting some extra fine glitter on top of my Snow-Tex to give it a more just snowed look. If you don't like glitter, you may want to skip out on using this. Then if you have some cups or anything to put in your paint or varnish or glitter, these are come in handy to keep your area more clean. If you have a little clay roller, this will be helpful, but if not, you can always just use your little fingers or anything else you can to flatten out your clay. And then I think the last thing, hopefully I'm not forgetting anything, is to buy some hooks. I bought this pack of 2 from Target, and this is what I'll be using to create a hook for my stocking to hang off of. Just some quick things to mention, if you are interested in doing this DIY, this takes about 24 hours to complete, just for a drying time and baking time and all that jazz. And then, for me, this probably cost me about $20 total to make 2 of my ceramic houses. So it's a pretty cheap DIY, but obviously it's going to depend on what materials you want to use, as well as the cost of your ceramic house and how many stocking holders you want to make. I only made 2 because only me and my boyfriend, but if you have a larger family, obviously it might cost you more. So hopefully that helps in case you're wondering about the cost and the amount of time this takes to make this DIY. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and turn to Floor Rachel to show you how this DIY was made. Well, hello. So in this first part, I'm going to show you how I made this stocking holder, and we're going to go ahead and make another one. I want to make sure I stick with my red, black, and white theme. So let me show you how this was made. Step number 1 is to paint the entire house. Like I said, I'm going to be using this red acrylic paint. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So for me personally, I'm going to avoid painting the roofs of the house just because I know that I'm not going to make those red. I'm just wanting to make the house itself red. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish painting this off camera, and then I'll be back with you guys to tell you the next step. Okay, so I finished painting the house red. Not the most perfect job, but honestly, you don't need it to be super perfect, just the areas where you think that you'll need crisp lines. So like for me, just on the outer parts of the roofs here are the parts where I was really trying to focus and make sure I had some nice crisp lines. But now that that's done, we're ready to move on to more fun things. So next I'm going to take my black and white Sculpey clay that I showed you earlier, and I'm going to start making the little bat with the cutout that I have here. I'm going to do the bat in black, and then later on I'm going to do black and white candy canes instead of red and white candy canes. So I'm going to go ahead and start kneading the black now, so that way it's super malleable. Then for me, I'm gonna take some of this plastic wrap because I am just using plain old cardboard as my desk, quote unquote, because I have nowhere else to make this stuff right now. So just to make sure that my clay doesn't get all dirty and disgusting, I'm just gonna lay down some plastic wrap and then tape it down, so that way I can hopefully try and prevent dirt and other nasty stuff getting in my clay. So I found out when I made my first one that you're probably going to need about half the block of clay in order to make the bat. I'm going to flatten out my clay here, and then I'm going to cut around my bat stencil, and then I'm going to add some features such as a little tiny ball of clay for his tummy, and then I'm going to start making some black and white candy canes. So I'll come back once I have my bat cut out, and then I'll start showing you how I'll make some of the details for the bat as well as for the house. So I'll see you when I get this little guy cut out of this little ball of clay. So now that I have my little bat base, I'm going to add some more dimension to it so it's not just a two-dimensional flat bat. So I'm going to start out by taking some more of my black clay here and rolling out little worm-like shapes. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to kind of form it along the edge of my little bat wing here. Do the same thing on the other side. So now I'm going to take a little ball and I'm going to try and mold it into a little bit more oval shape. And this will be his little tum-tum that's going to go on little bat. So it needs to be a little bit larger. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to start smoothing my little bat tummy as well as my edges of my wings down onto the bat. And then if you have any clay tools, those will be nice to use, as your fingers will only get things so smooth and the tools can get a little bit more into the smaller crevices where it's harder to get your fingers into. So I'm just going to keep smoothing down this piece as well as these pieces on the edges, and then I will be back again to start rolling out our little candy cane shapes. Alright, so I've gotten my little bat the way I wanted. I made sure and smoothed down as best as I could his little bat tummy and his edges of his wings here. If you want a smoother finish on your bat or whatever you're deciding to sculpt, I do believe if you use some alcohol, such as isopropyl alcohol, you should be able to smooth out your sculpture a little bit easier and get rid of any fingerprints or blemishes that you don't want on it. I personally don't really mind if mine's not super smooth. I kind of like that homemade look to it, so I'm going to leave mine how it is. But again, if you don't like that, I think that's one method of getting rid of it. So now I'm going to start working on my candy canes. So I'm going to go and grab some of my white clay here, and then I'm going to obviously use some more of my black, and I'm going to start making little wormy spirals like this and then twist them together. So I'll show you how I do that here after I wash my hands, because they have some black clay on it and I don't want to contaminate my white clay, so I'll be right back. Now if you do buy this white Frost Primo clay, it is a lot harder than the black clay, just as a forewarning. So I'm gonna keep kneading this guy until I can get it malleable enough to where it'll be easier for me to roll it out into little worm-like shapes. Okay, now that I have my black piece and my white piece, I'm going to put them together like this, and then I'm gonna press not too hard, but just a little bit, so then they at least stick together, and then make sure my pieces didn't fly away there. And then I'm just going to twist both ends so that way they come together. So if you want it to thin out, normally I just pinch and pull and then twist some more. Hopefully my bat's in focus. And then I'm going to take my little candy canes and I'm going to frame his little bat body and then make little candy canes on the wings. So I'm just going to tear off a piece of the candy cane and then kind of frame it around like that. And once I like how I've laid them down, I'm going to smooth them out so that way they stick to the body pretty well. So I'll be back. I'm going to make some candy canes to put on his wings and using the same method I just showed you guys, and then I'll check back in with you. Here's my little bat guy. Got his little candy cane on his little wings and a little candy cane on his ears and around his little tummy. So now I'm going to start assembling this as well as some other candy canes onto my ceramic house. Alright, so now I'm going to start assembling everything together. So I have my house here. It is fully dry. We're going to need some sandpaper as well as this Sculpey bacon bond, and that's how we're going to get everything to stick together. So first I'm going to grab my little hook. I've already painted the very tip of it red so that way it blends in when I stick it on. And then in order to stick this, we're going to sand the back of it, which I've already done. And then I'm going to take some clay. I'm just going to take the black clay because I have a lot of it still. I'm going to stick it on the back like so. And then I'm going to take my sandpaper. I'm going to sand where I want my hook to go. So basically why you want to sand it is you want to create texture for this bacon bond. It sticks better if there's some sort of texture and it's not super smooth. So now that I've sanded this down, I'm going to put some of that bacon bond right here. And then before I forget, I'm going to place some of the bacon bond on the back of the hook. Place on my clump of clay right on the top of it, like that. And then I'm going to stick the hook down. Now I'm going to try and bring this as far down as makes sense, so that way when I put my stocking on it, it'll hang kind of flush with the stocking holder. And then now I'm going to try and stick on my little bat guy. So I'm just going to test this and see where his wings fall. And then I'm going to sand these sides here, so that way there's again some texture. Going to put some of this bacon bond on top of this. I've already sanded the top of it as well. And then where I sanded down these corners here is where I also make sure to put some bacon bond. So now that I have my bat over top of my hook like that, I'm going to go ahead and add little candy cane details on the windows. Obviously sanding the paint off and then using the bacon bond to hold it down, etc, etc. So I'm gonna do that for these windows, and then I'll be back to give you another update. So here's how this is turning out so far. I attached my bat and my hook, and I added some candy cane details onto these windows right here, as well as the top of the chimney, and at the bottom on the staircase right here. On the sides, I've left them playing just to keep the front, the feature and focal point. So now that I have everything attached and it's to my liking, I'm going to go ahead and follow the directions on my Sculpey clay. They say to leave it in the oven at 275 for 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'll meet you guys back here once it's out of the oven. Welcome to VoiceOver Rachel, because for some reason my video camera decided not to record the audio, but my piece is out of the oven and it's looking mighty fine. So ready to move on to the final steps to complete our little stocking holder. The next step for me is to add a glossy finish. So I'm going to use my Dura clear gloss varnish in order to do that. I'm just going to paint it on using a paintbrush, and I'll be back with you guys once it is dried and I've completely covered everything with the varnish. Now that the gloss varnish has dried, we're ready to move on to the final step, which is adding on our Snow-Tex and our extra fine glitter. In order to apply the Snow-Tex, I'm just going to use a small paintbrush, and I'm going to stipple it on to the ceramic house. It is kind of hard to use at first, but once you start and create a layer of it, it's easier to pile more on top of it. So since the roof is at an angle, I like to pile a lot at the top and then kind of push it down with the paintbrush. You can add a lot of nice textures as well by kind of doing the motion I'm doing here. That way it looks like the snow isn't as smooth and it's more like natural in terms of how snow would normally fall. So I'm going to keep adding the snow onto the top roof, onto the roof that's on the lower level, and then I'm going to add some on the top of my bat as well as the chimney. Just to save on time and everyone's boredom, I'm going to do this off camera. I'm also going to add the glitter off camera. That's pretty easy. I'm just going to put the glitter into a cup so that way I have more control of it than just leaving it in the container that it comes in. Then I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top, shake off any excess, and then continue putting it on until I like how much glitter is sitting on top of the snow. Once you get your Snow-Tex and your glitter to your liking, make sure to put it somewhere where no one can mess with it, because the Snow-Tex will need about 8 to 12 hours to fully dry. Then once it's dry, you don't need to worry about it getting smushed in or anything. It does dry completely hard. So just give it that amount of time, take a nap, go to bed, watch a movie, whatever you need to do, and then your piece will be complete. I think this is the time of the video where I cue the epic montage of how my stocking holder turned out. So take it away, editing Rachel. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I made my Gothmasy stocking holder. Stay tuned for part 2 next week where we make some stockings to go with our stocking holders. So hope you guys enjoy seeing that as well. If you guys decide to also make your own stocking holder, please send me a picture on my Instagram. I'd love to see your creations. Hope you guys are having an awesome holiday season, and I will see you next week.